Good morning, everyone. Today, we will analyze one of the most remarkable strategic transformation stories in modern business history, that is of Microsoft. This case demonstrates how organizations can reinvent themselves in response to technological disruption, changing customer expectations, and evolving competitive landscape. Microsoft was founded in 1975 by Bill Gates and Paul Allen with the vision of making computing accessible to individuals and businesses. From humble beginning, the company evolved into one of the most valuable technology company in the modern world. For many years, Microsoft's success was largely driven by Windows and Office, which dominated personal computing markets globally. However, the emergence of cloud computing, mobile technologies, and digital platforms challenged the traditional foundations of Microsoft business model. A major turning point came in 2014 when Satya Nadella became CEO and initiated a significant strategic transformation. His vision shifted the organization from a Windows centric approach to a cloud first and AI enabled enterprise. Today, Microsoft's portfolio includes Windows, Microsoft 365, Azure, Xbox, LinkedIn, GitHub, etc. So, these businesses collectively create a powerful ecosystem that serves consumers, businesses, developers, and governments worldwide. So, Microsoft's journey highlights how organizations can remain relevant by continuously adapting, by continuously learning to environmental change and technological disruptions. This case study examines how Microsoft successfully reinvented itself in response to technological disruption and changing market dynamics. The first objective is to analyze Microsoft's strategic transformation and understand how the company repositioned itself in highly competitive technology markets. This second objective focuses on leadership and innovation, particularly the role of Satya Nadella in fostering organizational learning and cultural change. And the third objective is to understand how innovation, learning, and strategic adaptability contribute to sustainable competitive advantage. Rather than relying on past successes, Microsoft continuously developed new capabilities in cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and digital ecosystem. So, this transformation demonstrates that competitive advantage is not static but must be reinvented through learning and strategic adaptation. Microsoft's early success was built upon a stable and predictable business environment dominated by personal computers and software licensing, and it remained there for a long period of time. The company enjoyed strong market leadership through Windows and Office, supported by centralized decision making and long term planning. However, technological disruptions came and it fundamentally uh, mm, altered the competitive landscape in this particular business. So, the rapid growth of smartphones, cloud computing technologies, digital technologies, artificial intelligence created new challenges as well as opportunities. Microsoft recognized that agility, innovation, and continuous learning were becoming essential for survival. So, the company therefore shifted its approach from a product centric mindset toward a more adaptive and ecosystem oriented approach. So, the key insight here to note is that success in one era does not guarantee success in another era or another success in another time. Organizations that fail to understand this may not be able to survive. After understanding the need for change, let's look Microsoft's transformation through Mintzberg's 5 P's of strategy, or from the prism of Mintzberg 5 P's. So, as a plan, what Microsoft did, it focused on cloud first, mobile first strategy, and that's why deliberate investment is in Azure and AI as the backbone of future growth. As a ploy, its teams integrated Microsoft into 365 as competitive counter to Slack and Zoom. As a pattern, it showed consistent enterprise focus and acquired LinkedIn, GitHub, Activision, etc. to have ongoing innovation. As a position, it trusted integrators on cloud, productive softwares and cyber security. All these were brought under ecosystem umbrella. As a perspective, that was the growing the mindset culture, historic shift from know it all to learn it all organization, and that is a very great shift. A fundamental change in perspective has to be there when you change your approach from know it all to learn it all. That is making itself a learning entity, learning organization. From the positioning schools of strategy, we can learn a few things about Microsoft. We know that Porter argues about achieving sustainable competitive advantage by selecting distinctive strategic positions rather than attempting to serve every market segment equally. Unlike companies that compete primarily on cost, Microsoft followed a differentiation strategy based on superior value creation. The company differentiates itself through an integrated ecosystem that seamlessly connects Windows, Microsoft 365, Azure, Teams, LinkedIn, GitHub and cyber security solutions. So, this ecosystem creates convenience, compatibility and switching costs for customers. It means creating high switching costs for customers. Microsoft, by its differentiation strategy, further strengthens enterprise grade security, scalable cloud infrastructure, embedded artificial intelligence and strong brand trust. So, Michael Porter's differentiation strategy helped Microsoft to get leverage of the benefits of differentiation in its products and services and creating an ecosystem. On the other hand, the learning school which views strategy as an evolving process helped Microsoft. So, Microsoft transformation basically under Satya Nadella strongly reflects this approach. Instead of relying exclusively on detailed planning, company embraced learning, adaptation, continuous improvement, innovation, etc. So, one significant example was Microsoft's response to cloud computing. Initially, Amazon's web-based services had a dominant position, but Microsoft recognized the cloud opportunity and invested heavily in Azure. So, through experimentation, through learning, market feedback, Microsoft evolved into the world's second largest cloud platform today. This transformation demonstrates that successful strategies often emerge through learning rather than rigid planning. So, the key insight is that sustainable success depends on continuous learning, adaptability, and innovation. Microsoft is a modern organization, and we know that modern organizations have a lot of expectations to contribute to society positively while maintaining its business performance. Microsoft recognizes that responsibility is not only an ethical obligation but also a strategic asset. It gives importance to ethics, morality, and social responsibility. From a moral perspective, the company promotes accessibility uh, technologies, diversity, and inclusion initiatives, fair workplace practices, and responsible artificial intelligence development. From an ethical perspective, Microsoft invests in significantly in cyber security, data privacy protection, transparent AI governance, and responsible data stewardship. From a social responsibility perspective, the company has committed to becoming carbon neutral or carbon negative by 2030. It supports digital literacy programs, expand broadband access, and invest in community development activities. So, Microsoft understands its ethical, moral, and social responsibility and is doing heavily in these different areas. Let us have a look how the Microsoft is considered or why Microsoft is considered as a learning organization. Basically, Peter Senge introduced the concept of learning organizations and Microsoft under Nadella build the capabilities required for perpetual strategic renewal. So, the first thing it is continuous learning. The second is the culture of innovation. The next is the knowledge sharing, and with these activities, enterprise wide employee training, the mindset which is related to innovation, the mindset which is able to take the calculated risk while going for innovation, and then simultaneously sharing knowledge with others to get better insights or insight flows, help the company to uh, become a learning organization where learning takes place at every level of the organization. Now, if we look at the numbers, we see that transformation has taken place. The company became one of the first organization to surpass market capitalization of $3 billion, reflecting strong investor confidence. Azure has emerged as the world's second largest cloud platform and continues to achieve significant growth. Microsoft Teams reached approximately 300 million monthly active users, demonstrating the effectiveness of Microsoft ecosystem integration strategy. The company has also committed to becoming carbon negative by 2030s, thus reinforcing its sustainability leadership. So, these achievements indicate that strategic transformation can generate tangible results, tangible business value when supported by strong leadership, innovation, and organizational learning. So, rather than depending solely on historical products, Microsoft successfully created new growth engines through cloud computing, AI, and digital collaboration. Microsoft's journey provides valuable insights into the future direction of strategic management. The business environment is becoming increasingly complex and turbulent due to technological disruption, AI, sustainability expectations, and global interconnectedness. As a result, organizations no longer rely solely on traditional planning approaches. Future success, I say, will depend on combining technological capability, organizational adaptability, sustainability commitments, and larger learning oriented leadership. Microsoft demonstrates that long term value creation requires balancing innovation with responsibility and growth with adaptability. Organizations must continue sense environmental changes, learn from ongoing feedback, emerging trends, and respond appropriately and proactively. Leaders will need to cultivate cultures that encourage experimentation, collaboration, trust, authenticity, confrontation, etc. All these values or all these ethos given in the form of octapace are necessary to build an organization, a learning organization, and are necessary for lifelong learning and lifelong planning. So, the key insight is that long term value creation requires combining technological capability, organizational adaptability, sustainability commitment, and learning first leadership philosophy. This case study integrates several important strategic management theories and collectively explain Microsoft's evolution from a dot-com company to the company which is future oriented or futuristic in nature. Mintzberg's 5 P's framework help us understand Microsoft's strategy as a combination of planning, positioning, patterns, perspective, and competitive moves. On the other hand, Porter's theory highlights how differentiation and ecosystem integration create sustainable competitive advantage. Simultaneously, Peter Senge's concept of learning organizations and organizational learning framework explain Microsoft's emphasis on continuous learning, collaboration, and growth oriented mindset. Prahlad and Hamel's ideas regarding core competencies and strategic learning illustrates how capabilities in cloud computing and artificial intelligence became valuable strategic lessons or assets. And finally, Toffler's perspective emphasizes the importance of social responsibility and societal contribution, as well as the level of competition that is globalized in nature. So, together these frameworks demonstrate that strategic success is rarely explained by a single theory. Instead, it emerges from interaction of leadership, learning, innovation, positioning, culture, and responsibility. So, this comprehensive understanding helps explain why Microsoft remains one of the world's most successful and adaptable organizations. As we conclude this Microsoft's case study, several important strategic lessons emerge. The first lesson is that adaptation is non-negotiable. Organizations that cling to past success has risk of becoming irrelevant in rapidly changing environment, and that we have seen in the case of Kodak, in the case of Nokia and Blockbuster and many more, HMT. So, these companies because could not adapt themselves to the changing business environment, They became complacent and then lost their identity and could not survive in the marketplace. The second lesson is that culture can become powerful competitive moat. Microsoft's learn it all culture proved more durable than any individual product. Now, continuous learning is going on because of that changed mindset. The third lesson is that learning is a strategic capability without consciously promoting it throughout the organization. Companies do not learn automatically. So, organizations or companies that learn faster than competitors gain a sustainable competitive advantage that compounds over time. The fourth lesson emphasizes that ethics, morality, and responsibility or social responsibility also matters a lot. So, responsible AI, sustainability initiatives, and data privacy, strengthening stakeholder trust and long term value creation are very important to become a successful organization. And one more lesson that is but last but not the least, I would say, is the final lesson, that is strategy is a living process. It is a dynamic process rather than a one time plan. So, successful organizations continuously sense, learn, adapt and reinvent themselves. The central message of this case is captured in the concluding statement that I have written, is that ultimate competitive advantage is not having the perfect strategy, but possessing the ability to continuously learn and reinvent strategy as the world changes. Its ability to learn, translate that learning into action rapidly and ultimate leads to ultimate competitive advantage. Or Jack Welch transformed another company, that was General Electric, by having this philosophy that fits well to Microsoft's reinvention. That's all for today. I have provided a few references to you. You can go through that. Thank you.